Hello! I was wondering if I might trouble you for a cup of strong black coffee, and in the process engage you with an anecdote of no small amusement.
Mortal Podcast. All right, that's the intro. Hello, and welcome to another episode of NerdyVerse. And if you can't tell from the impromptu opening,
That's just what's been going through my head for
yeah,
the last
we're
like
gonna
6
get
days.
copyright struck for that, but it's okay. It's worth it.
Good.
It is worth it because we are talking Mortal Kombat. I mean, the title's on the episode, so it's not a surprise. I don't know why we act like it's a surprise, but here we are. Boo!
It's Liu Kang.
Turns out we're talking about the What was that movie? Everybody was about. It got in an episode of Seinfeld, The Doctor's Note or something like that.
What?
It was some movie that everybody thought was amazing, and Jerry didn't want to talk about. Wasn't amazing, just because everybody else loved it. I don't know.
I've seen a total of 5 episodes of Seinfeld.
I've seen too much. Anyway, Seinfeld is not in Mortal Kombat.
It could
so
be.
Not
it
applicable.
Very well could be.
Who knows? Anything's possible in Mortal Kombat lore, apparently. So, yeah, we're here to kind of talk an amalgamation. We were going to talk. We were going to give a dedicated episode to both the original. I guess I can call it that. It
1995.
is. Yeah, the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
It is the old one, not the original Mortal Kombat overall.
No, that one was in 90?
Ish. Well, let me see. It was based on the. Oh wait, hang on. Let me go to the other one. Based on the 1992 game.
I was close.
So, yeah. Normally they give a little bit more time, I guess. Normally it takes years to get a good game adaptation, or not a game, a good movie adaptation, or it should.
It should.
You should proof the concept first and make sure it's worth making millions of dollars worth of film, and yeah, forever to be remembered on the internet. But yeah, just a few short years after the original game, it got enough popularity. It's interesting to look back into that world and see that even then they were watching. They were like, "What can we jump on? What hype train can we take advantage of?" And so we got an original movie that was an attempt. It is not a perfect movie.
No.
It is a lot of fun, though. It's still enjoyable.
Yeah, it's hecka entertaining. Like, we had a lot of fun watching it.
Still do. I will say, like, before there was too much mature criticism, I don't know. I don't remember really caring. I just remember watching it and liking it.
Yeah.
Although, I guess now I can form opinions about, like, yeah, I like it, but it's not great. I'm not going to say it was amazing, but I don't even remember being like that. I just remember originally watching this being like, this is cool.
Yeah. Like, have you ever played the game cabinet in an arcade before?
I believe so. Yeah, I did. I played one. I can't tell you which one it was, but it was one of 2 game cabinets we used to have at the community center I used to go to. That and the Power Rangers. Yes. I almost said board game. But yeah, so it was that. I remember that. I don't remember which one it was, though. Mm-hmm. So
I remember going to an arcade in Owensboro, Kentucky, that had the original game cabinet there, mm-hmm. and playing with my brothers and being absolutely destroyed. But it was a lot of fun. Like, I loved the game so much.
Mm-hmm.
Never actually owned a copy, but always played at other people's houses.
Yeah, I've always mooched it off of either the game cabinet or played it from someone else. I've only really played the one that was whatever one I played forever ago, and then Mortal Kombat 10.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I've played.
10 was great.
But it's one of those things where it's just like I've known of it forever, and I've thought it was cool, and there were elements that I got the story through that is what I ended up enjoying. So even though I was never a hardcore player of the game, I liked the bits of lore and everything.
Mhm.
I love this weird part of history with games and cartoons and everything where you don't get the history in the content. It's built around it afterwards.
Legend of Zelda.
It's so crazy. So, I mean, I did a series on Halo, and that's a prime example where almost all of the history is not in the games.
Mhm.
And so I feel like Mortal Kombat's that same thing where it's just like, I like it, but not really for the games. Not even really for like all the action and everything. I just think it's an interesting concept. And I think it's an interesting setting to do a story.
Mhm.
And I've been fascinated how they've adapted a side-scrolling beat 'em up game into film.
And made it way better than Street Fighter.
Right. So, like, I feel like what happens when you take a 2D Sonic game and make it 3D is what happened when they took a 2D fighting game and made it a 1995 film. So, we were gonna spend a whole episode gushing about it. Probably better that we kind of combine it on because obviously we've got the new one, the 2021
Yes.
Mortal Kombat. 26 years later, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
quite a
26.
lot of time to get good at filmmaking, for it to get in better hands, I
Yeah.
should say.
I mean, in the 90s, there were a few video game adaptations for movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Mm-hmm.
You had Mortal Kombat. You had Street Fighter, I think. I think that was 90s.
That either very early 90s or like right at 90. You're talking about the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie?
Yes, I am talking about
Not
the
Street.
JCVD
That's not
nonsense.
That's not Street Fighter.
No, it is not. It
No.
is Jean-Claude Van Damme
It's as much Street
doing
Fighter
disputes.
as the Mario Brothers movie is Mario.
Accurate.
I'm just saying. So, but well, and then funnily enough, the director of this, who I think has a creative mind for taking game true content and carrying it over. I just don't think he makes it into good movies. So
Mhm.
Paul W.S. Anderson, who went on to do the Resident Evil series, which it's pretty much out there, so I don't think it's news, but like he walked away from this and was supposed to come back, but then he was like, no, because they made the second one and I didn't like it. And
Yeah.
so the whole reason that he did literally every Resident Evil movie was because I don't want anyone else to do this. And so I'm like, I feel like you started making those for the wrong intentions too.
Here's the thing, though. He had a point. Annihilation was garbage.
Yes, it was not a good. I mean, it was literally. This was at least an enjoyable labor of love.
Yes,
I can say.
big time.
It's a fun watch. Which even if it
Yeah.
can't be a good movie, at least you have that. At least people like watching what you made.
Oh, yeah.
The the follow up was literally, well, all right, we're just gonna ham it through. The guy we wanted to do it's not gonna do it, so let's just push this, make it happen because it's Mortal Kombat and people will watch it and have fun, right? No.
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 I like bad movies. This is a bad movie.
No. It's right up there with a lot of things where, like, it's a bad movie, but I hope people had a good time. I hope that people have good memories. I hope there's some positive to this. I don't want to make it like these people are garbage and all this work they spent on it is garbage and everything.
No.
I really don't want it to be like just completely flat like that because although it's a bad film. That's the thing. It's like it wasn't made well. It wasn't made with good intention. It wasn't made with good financial strategy. Like it has way more money than the first one, and
Yeah.
you don't know where it went. And like, it's a lot of that of just like, this is a bad movie with good people. Like the cast is pretty great.
Yeah.
You know,
Robin Shue returning, which is he's
well,
delightful.
and I remember this being the movie that made me fall in love with him and his work because there was a big time when I was into martial arts movies, and he was another face to be able to say this is some because everybody talks about Jackie Chan, everybody talked about Jet Li, so he was that one I could pull out and be like, but have you heard of Robin? And so I loved him. I love him in Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yes.
He's such a good sport.
And even though it may not have been like the most accurate depiction of Liu Kang, still fantastic as Liu Kang.
I feel like it's one of those instances where the kind of actor he is, he makes it his Liu Kang.
Absolutely.
I feel like he kind of steps into the shoes, and you don't really force him to do anything. You kind of let him do his thing and make it like, there's all the Liu Kangs, and then there's Robin's Liu Kang kind of thing, and like, there's Christian's Batman, there's Ben's Batman, like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's certain actors that once they step in, they become that version, and that you can't compare it. In tradition, he led the movie, he carried the movie and everything.
Absolutely. I think he did a fantastic job.
I did too.
That's just the person that he is.
So we go from having a fun movie to getting, even the cast have done it. They're biased, but they've said, one of the best video game adaptations, and
They're right.
I'm hard pressed. Yeah, like the only other thing that I think compares for me is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Because that movie was amazing.
That was so unexpected.
It's so good.
Like,
it's so amazing, and I'm so happy.
Why was that the first good
I don't
video game
know.
movie?
I don't know.
I don't like Sonic games.
Here's the thing: it was going to be the same movie, just look different originally before
Actually, yeah.
before the fan petitions. So
let's not get into that.
I just mean like it was going to be the same movie. It just looks a little different. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I was expecting 3D Sonic the movie. Which,
right? No, it was a great movie, and so it's really hard to kind of. I don't think it has to be a competition. There are two very different genres. You enjoy them for very different reasons.
I watch movies to see a blue hedgehog go real fast.
Right, and so, but so we go from a fun attempt at adapting a media to, I mean,
completely different.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, they get a lot of the story right, and they give people what they want, which is, you give a built-up story, you give characters to care about, and they even take the interesting side of it of one of the more interesting story elements, probably the one most people know, most people are gravitated towards, is, the Sub-Zero versus Scorpion plot.
Yes.
And they wonderfully make that, like, that could have failed so hard that could have been an easy fan service of like, hey, these two most popular characters are going to be the plot-heavy characters. And it could have failed. But it worked so well to build the story around their generational history.
Absolutely. And I thought that fight was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So the original plot was very quick. It was very forced because it whatever got us to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it was very, hey, let's collect these boys. We're going to go on an island away from here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to China.
It just like...
in Mortal Kombat.
You jump right in, and everybody just kind of really goes with it.
Yeah.
I will say, I like that for the new one, Cole's the only ignorant one.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
I like that we're catching up to the story through Cole, and the idea of everybody else is already on board, knows something about this, and so it makes more sense that the team would be into it, and there's only one reluctant dude.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also been having weird dreams of his ancestors, so he's kind of aware of weird stuff, so it kind of works.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and what I thought was a very bold choice is, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't get real Mortal Kombat. We don't get the tournament.
Not yet.
Yeah, so
Not
it's like
yet at all.
they actually didn't go there. I thought that was interesting. They used the plot device of, all right, we're going to beat them before the tournament can even begin.
Mm-hmm.
They spin that in their favor of, okay, well, we're going to do that too. And it leaves room for making more interesting introductions in the next one, which we get teased at the end, both on the good and the bad side. So,
yeah.
I think that's interesting. So, but, the original, I mean, we're right into it, and
those were $500 sunglasses, John. That's the most important part. Those were $500 sunglasses.
Right. All I can think is there was a very specific line in the budget where you went from Power Rangers episode to theatrical film, of films released around this time, you had a certain quality, a certain setting, like all the, like if you could afford it, it looked like this. You know, it looked like any other movie made then.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, it looked like you just filmed right behind the Power Rangers on whatever lot and random field they happen to have.
Yeah,
You know,
actually.
it looks like, I mean, you could interchange it with Dawson's Creek, anything.
You could throw Rita Repulsa into this movie and she would fit right in.
I don't know how to articulate that any differently. It's just like, it doesn't look like movie. It looks like just...
It looks like TV.
It looks like TV.
It looks like TV that we grew up watching.
And that's not necessarily criticism. It's just the look of it. And you feel that throughout. Like, I'm specifically thinking of when Liu Kang is fighting Katana and when they're doing the dining room scene. Both of those are very specific set looks.
Yes, big time.
And it's just... So, but... And then we go from that to... and I think the biggest thing is the final battle area.
It looks so Mortal Kombat-y.
Like, it's so... I mean, you get... Like, the work that they did, and it wasn't all digital. It was very practical, the way they did the ice and all of that, you know. So in the end, when it's the climactic battle between Sub-Zero, Cole, and Scorpion, it's in Cole's old arena area, but it's all frozen over.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks so good.
It looks incredible. They dressed that set so well.
And that's what I can say for this, is like, it doesn't just look like movie quality, it looks like Mortal Kombat quality with a K. You know, there was specific ones where it was the training arena. It was Raiden's training arena, where you called it out. And then it was the one where Jax fights, I don't even remember the other dude, the guy he fights, the big dumb one.
Oh, Hammer Boy. What was his name?
Yeah, I'm trying to...
Stop Hammer Time. I don't remember.
I don't know. I'd never heard of him before.
Yeah,
Emily. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's his name now. His name is Emily. Goodbye, old name. Your name is now Emily.
Reiko? Let me see.
Something like that. Something Mortal Kombat-y.
Thanks for not showing me a picture. Maybe Reiko.
Maybe.
Reiko Hardin. I don't know. Because it's the only name that doesn't make Nitaro? Who's Nitara? No, that's the vampire lady.
Which we will
gosh.
get to. We have to talk about the fatalities in this movie.
So I guess I think it's Reiko. That's a character I don't know. It just looks like Patrick Starr's voice actor given a hammer.
Which is entirely possible, honestly.
I don't think it is, but anyway.
Yeah, like, this movie has some incredible fights. It has some incredible sets. It has so many just fantastic moments that they're all hard to kind of point out one at a time. Like, I think what the original movie had going for it was that it was quotable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've watched a couple of videos saying that. Like, you remember specific parts of that movie so much.
Well, it feels like we evolved from, all right, we got to include this fight. We've got to include this character. We've got to include this quote.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got to fill in the gaps. Even doing that in a fun way. Like, that's all the 1995 film is.
Yeah.
It's moving from interesting thing to interesting thing to interesting thing. And that's why it feels so quick. So, like, it just... You got to know what you're getting into going into that, because that's what they've built the film on, is it's just this idea of people are going to like when we say that thing, and they're going to like when this character does that. And we move from that to, no, it has to make sense. It has to fit. Yes, let's do... No, okay. There's one instance that doesn't apply.
Yes.
But, like, it's all done very choicely.
Yeah, it's not too fan servicey.
Right, you still get it. You still get it. It's just that it works. It doesn't just happen. It works.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just do it for the sake of being cool so that people can be like, oh, that thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's done in such a way that it makes sense for the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was a good evolution from, and that's where I think. And people disagree. That's why I think Star Wars doesn't do as much fan service as people think. Because it's a lot of things where it's just like, yes, this happens because it's going to happen. but it works for the story. I
Absolutely.
feel like once it sacrifices story for substance, then it's fan service. Then it doesn't work.
Yeah, not a one boob in this entire film. I appreciate that.
One boob?
Not fan service in like the anime sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was so random. So again, the original story was just to do the Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
Throw the characters we all know in, get it done. Whereas this one, it's built, like I said, on a generational story, which I really enjoy. It starts off, obviously, with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, or Bihan. It starts off with their story because although Mortal Kombat is not their story, the characters at play, whether they know it or not, are a part of their story.
Yeah.
And that is the big thing that people either loved or hated, and that's Cole.
Loved him, personally.
I've not done the research. People are drawing parallels of other characters that I don't know if had a similar story. I don't really... Because I don't have that frame of reference, I enjoyed Cole, and I thought it worked very well. Even if there's other characters, I think going this route was a bit smarter of an option, because, again, he's the ignorant one. He's the one that doesn't know.
Yeah.
He's the one that has to get everything explained to him for our sake.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, most people watching this understand enough about Mortal Kombat, but like we need it to make sense, okay? Yes, we know, interdimensional tournament, but why? And so by making it an unknown, ignorant character like Cole, it makes sense to get that exposition, I think.
Big time.
And so he's I appreciate that he's just generationally related to Scorpion. So there was a baby who had 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 a baby. I didn't even get very far.
Babe Allen.
Baby! And eventually you get Cole.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the birthmark. I thought that was pretty interesting. Chosen characters.
I like that.
It makes sense. Not anybody can just do Mortal Kombat. And so, it's all about Shang Tsung trying to eliminate the competition before Mortal Kombat. Smart.
Very smart.
But cheating.
Which explains a lot of levels in Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing, is it's like
games.
if everything only happens in Mortal Kombat, if it only ever happens in the tournament, like it really limits your scope. Because, I mean, okay, we just had a tournament in the last movie. Can we have a tournament in the next one? Like,
yeah.
I like that they're not building everything on, it has to be in the tournament. It has to be this thing. Because, again, I feel like that would just limit how far they could go with this.
Absolutely. And I think we could talk for hours about the fights,
Mm-hmm.
just because they are fantastic. And I think that's something that 2021 way improves over 1995 is hiring actual martial artists.
Yeah, well, and then, I mean, the thing is, though, even if you don't get people, actors that can do it, get stunt doubles that can do it. There was just not enough care put into doing the fights. They did 95 movie fights. They did 1995 quality movie fights.
Yeah, they hired the dad from Teen Wolf.
Right, so, you get what you get with that versus, this one where, I mean, everybody in some way, what I appreciate is even actors who played Kano, who we have...
Another improvement, in my opinion.
Josh Lawson.
Yeah.
We also have who played Sonya? Jessica McNamee.
Australian Miss Star.
Both of them. I don't think she's Australian.
I think she is.
Both of them. She's Australian. Were very good, but they're not in the martial arts kind of way. They came with their own style. He was much more scrappy. He was much more what you'd expect from
a knife pervert. Yes.
Well, yeah, he doesn't get you with fancy stuff. He fights dirty, and then you get her who's very boxy, very very militaristic a little bit, kind of thing. Disarm, kind of pin him, kind of thing. And it's a mix of styles, and I think that's the thing too, is explain why they can fight and how. Jax too is a kind of heavy hitting boxy type. It's not martial arts. That's what makes sense for somebody who learned to fight in the military. I'm not saying every military serviceman fights like that, but I just mean that makes way more sense than him doing jump kicks and all the other stuff. there's so much where, again, it just comes down to it has to work. It has to make sense. We can't just do it to do it. Um, which brings to like a lot of the finishing moves and a lot of that stuff, the introductions of the arcana and all that stuff, where it's just like, why can they do the things they do? What makes them special?
Yeah.
It's again that chosen warriorness of it, of like, no, you're not. So again, back to 1995, where the world's best fighters just get thrown on a boat and go, and, like, that's so stupid.
That are like handpicked by Shang Tsung as someone else.
Like, that's so stupid because I mean, oh my gosh, it's just you're betting the fate of the world on untrained people. Like, I mean, again, Johnny Cage being able to fight in a movie is not the same as being able to fight. Okay, so like it's just going forward to the like no, the chosen warriors they prepare for this, they train, and they obviously get this sort of interdimensional power to be able to do what they do. It's not just anybody can enter kind of thing.
That comes through work or yelling.
Which is what I like about the whole thing of Raiden, bringing them to his temple to train and everything, to prepare. Like the other guys just go on a boat and go.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense. Like you're just trusting that these guys can save the world. Okay.
You're putting it...
That's smart, Highlander.
In the dirty Australian hands of Kano.
Right. Like, a lot of people loved him. I thought he was great. I thought he was hilarious. I thought everybody was great, though.
Dude, the more like cast interviews and more Instagram stalking that I do,
they're fun people. They're great.
They're so cool. They're so great.
The other thing I'll say to the fights is I think that audience expectations has improved to the point where you can't not do well. Like, again, whether it's the actor or a stunt double, you can't not have someone that doesn't work. Like that can't do it. And I mean, look at where we've come from the fight and action of Mission Impossible to more recently.
Yeah.
Like it's to like everybody expects the next one to improve even more, like to level up the amp of the fighting and the hand-to-hand combat and the style and everything, because it like that's a big part that sells.
Yeah.
Again, in the first one, I feel like a lot of it was. I can't even say nostalgia because it was only like 3 years old, but like it was a lot of just like fan service. It was just like you're gonna go to see the guy in the yellow jumpsuit, right? Like that's enough.
And there was a lot of attitude of Westerners seeing kung fu movies and thinking, "Oh, this is what this looks like. Everything should look like that." When in reality, that's a small part.
Well, I mean, in a lot of martial arts film, the martial arts is the story. Like it's the selling point. You come up with why you're doing the fighting, but essentially you sell it on the concept. And I don't want to diminish it into anything less than, but a lot of the time, like it's an important piece to the movie making.
Yeah.
Versus again, where it's like, no, we're going to take these important things and then these two characters have to fight. Let's just throw it together. Let's just see what that looks like.
And I realize now, what I meant to say was we're operating in the 1995 movie on a Westerner's understanding of what this should look like. Not like that was wrong or anything.
Well, yeah, I just mean it's just like you don't look at fighting like the substance. People are here for the characters. I'm like, yes and no. They got to be interesting.
Yeah, I watch a Bruce Lee movie for Bruce Lee.
Well,
but I also watch it for other things.
Yeah. What the fight like that's the hype. So that's the thing is it's just like here you can tell care went into again the style of fighting, the fights themselves. Everything was very well done and carefully done to where it looked good, but not at the sake of just looking good without story. But also they didn't do story or nostalgia without following up with good action.
Oh, absolutely. Some of this was absolutely incredible.
And so, some of the other characters we get and their actors. So we do get Lord Raiden. We actually get properly racialized, I guess is the word, Lord Raiden.
Played by a white guy twice. We're finally getting it right this time.
Right, like...
Only took 26 years.
I have no idea what that was about. But Todanobu Asano, who I didn't realize it until somebody mentioned it, is one of the it's Lady Sif in the something something
Yeah.
From Thor,
In
the
the
Thor
Three
movies,
Warriors, something like
something
that.
like that.
He was
all
a
of them,
cool dude.
all of them too cool and
Yeah.
underused. I mean, come
Absolutely.
on. People mention him. He's in Thor Ragnarok, and I'm like, yeah, for 5 seconds. Like, I feel so bad.
Oh.
Even here, he doesn't get used, but again, he can't get involved. Blah blah blah. I feel like once Shao Kahn gets involved in the next movie,
He's gonna get
he
involved.
obviously, like, boundaries are off. Like, we're going to see Raiden unleash. But he's sort of the guru of this one. He's sort of the guiding mentor of this group of fighters and everything, preparing them for what would come and everything. So it fits. I think it works. If anything, it just looks cool.
Yeah. He looks dope.
So many of them just look like they jump right off the game. And then, so we mentioned Liu Kang from the 1995. Here, he's not the main character, although he's got a main feature.
He is very good.
I was really worried at first, like, there's not going to be Liu Kang. And then they did another trailer where I'm like, oh, so Liu Kang is here. He's just not important. That sucks.
He's very important.
Yeah, he gets to be, he's another character that he knows everything. He's been living and preparing for this his life, so.
And fantastically portrayed by Ludi Lin.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He's a great guy. Wow. Not the only time he's shown off his physicality.
Yeah.
Man, he's working on some project. Let me see if I can find it. But he's doing some project that's based on. And he was also in Black Mirror. I didn't realize that. But he was also
in Power Rangers.
Yes, in Power Rangers and Aquaman. Ooh, he was an underwater warrior. Not featured, not talently featured.
Even though he is very talented.
Kung Fu is the thing that he is working on, and that's where I've seen some captures and stills from that show off more of what probably got him this job and everything. So,
well, he and Max Huang both are on the Jackie Chan stunt team.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, they're young.
Yeah, they're like babies.
Right. And so speaking of Max Huang, I'm so sad that Kung Lao died.
He was my favorite character in this
so
movie.
Good.
He was so good.
And I even said throughout, I either forgot or didn't know he was going to be in this, because when he showed up, when Kung Lao showed up, I was like, oh my gosh.
With such an incredible intro.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently that was all him.
He was probably the most well-adapted, most faithfully adapted. And I don't mean that in a negative of any of the other. Every other one was tweaked to work in film, I think. He, like, literally is just Kung Lao. And he's just the character.
Here's the benefit of the Instagram stalking. Apparently, both he and Ludi Lin have known each other for a really long time.
Oh, okay.
And they've talked about how before they started working on the movie, Ludi Lin bought a Switch and Mortal Kombat 11 and played only as Liu Kang for like months. And then, it's really sweet. And then Max Huang was talking about how he played through and he picked out different moves that Liu Kang would do. And he like practiced until he could do it. And it just like,
You love to see it.
You do. You love to see people who are so passionate about a character that they want to be that character as much as possible.
And so, and I think that's what led to Kung Lao seeming so just right off the screen and everything.
That dinner scene was hilarious.
And then, and a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff of Max and Ludi is a lot of fun to watch. Which makes more sense now, knowing they're both good friends and everything. And so they worked so well. And you can tell in the chemistry they have. And it's just another reason why I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe they killed Kung Lao.
Well, they didn't kill him.
Yeah.
They took his soul.
Yeah.
Which
Your soul is mine.
I am holding out
for more. I have to say, so we get Chin Han as Shang Tsung this time.
Incredible.
Hard follow from Kerry Tagawa. Because I feel like for so many people, I mean, he's a face of a martial arts villain generation. Like he just was that guy for so long, but like he had so much flair. Next to Robin as Liu Kang in the original, he was the best of, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna ham it up. I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
To the point that they based parts of Shang Tsung in future game content on him, even bringing him back for the for the video games. So like, you gotta recognize like how amazing it is when you do it so well that they change the character for you, which they technically did with Kano too, but you know,
dude,
he's Australian because of that one guy.
Exactly.
Who supposedly faked being Australian for both
Yes.
that film and literally everything else he's ever done. Like, he's been in commercials where he fakes being Australian. Like,
He
I don't
doesn't
know.
even do a good accent.
I think he gets the job because they're like, oh, you're
Kano.
the
That's
Kano
neat.
guy. And it's just like, we've been looking for good Aussie blood to sell our vacuums. And it's just like, crocky diddly wop boop boop bop, kangaroos.
This is not a knife.
This is not a knife. This is a vacuum. So it's like, I don't know. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Get a proper Aussie for this one, who is a good boy.
He's a very good boy.
That they make just so crazy and dirty and grungy. I love it. Josh Lawson mentioned that before, but again,
he was very dirty throughout this entire film.
So we get Joe Talisman as Bi-Han and Sub-Zero. So
Another incredible
the
person.
two best. Oh, I can't even say that. So many good casting choices. My two favorite casting choices, I'll say, is Joe Talisman and Hiroyuka Sanada as Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
And part of it is, again, by going retroactively and saying these two characters are going to really drive this movie. They're not the whole story, but they're going to be who we take the story through. So you get people that can do that. The action, the acting, all of it. And so to get Sanada and Talisman acting off of each other. Sanada, who, by the way, he just had a birthday, and I want to say he just turned 60.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, no, you did. Was it not? Maybe I lied. His birthday's in October.
Even then, happy birthday. You deserve it. Have some cake.
I'm confused now because
Get
I
over
could have
here.
sworn. Maybe I saw an old post. I could have sworn I saw on Twitter that he had a birthday. He was celebrating a birthday.
You may have been celebrating someone else's birthday.
I don't care. He's amazing. He's still 60.
Yeah.
The dude's 60.
The dude is...
Joe Talisman is 39. Okay? That 20-year difference doesn't make a difference because Sanada acts his butt off.
He does.
He keeps up with all the action.
It was like watching an Akira Kurosawa film.
Well, that's the thing is he's so good when it comes to traditional Japanese acting and action like that. Like literally, it's the reason he got the job with Westworld. It's the reason he got the job with Endgame. It's that thing of we need someone who just perfectly captures samurai essence and authenticity. And that's the thing is it's just like that. It's something he's so ingrained in and knows so well that he brings it to screen.
Yeah.
But he's able so well to keep up with the likes of Joe Talisman. He's able to do the stunts and do the action himself.
Yes.
Like, it's incredible. And also, he's just a great actor. Seeing him act in the beginning as Hasashi is fantastic.
Yeah.
They don't just make Scorpion this quotable, angry, evil villain or even anti-villain.
Not even a villain. Like,
yeah.
He's just
I don't want to
a
make him
dude.
too hero-y. Because
he does kill a dude. Yeah.
well, he's still got to be a little bad. I mean, a little bit. So, but obviously, when it comes to the greater of two evils, Bi-Han is the one that's got to go down. He's the one. He's the one that sucks.
Do you think?
It's like Predator rules,
Yeah.
where it's like, yes, the Predators are bad and kill people, but they kill people honorably. Like they give you a fight. I feel like that's Hasashi, whereas obviously Bi-Han straight up killed his kid and wife.
Yes.
Come on. Like, even bad guys have to have boundaries and everything.
Do you think they're going to go the new Noob Saibot route?
I don't think so.
Because it's
I do think
ridiculous.
we should get something... I don't think it should be the brother, because obviously, if that's the original Bi-Han, that doesn't make sense.
No.
I do think we should get an opposite to Cole in the next movie. Now, the thing is, Bi-Han and Goro were taken away by Shang Tsung in the end. where he talked about, where you beat my guys, I'll have more in their place. So it's very teasy of like, we're not done here with these characters,
which is why I keep Liu Kang or Kung Lao in my heart,
right?
Because like I know he's coming back.
I'd feel bad because Max Hong did such a good job. I really hate how those conversations have to happen in general of like, all right, somebody's got to die. And it's like everybody's so excited to be involved and be there.
Yeah.
It sucks to choose
I don't want any of them to die. No. Like I want everybody to have a fun time and just be themselves.
So again, Jessica McNamee, great job as Sonya.
Fantastic.
I've never liked Sonya Blade.
That's because, like Ryan David Gilbert said in his Mortal Kombat video, which I highly recommend, is that she was the first girl in Mortal Kombat, so her personality was girl.
Crap. It's literally just any male character with boobs. Like there was nothing ever interesting.
Cassie Cage is so much better.
And if anything, it was just there to get eye-rolly, misogynistic things, and they play that up in the 1995 one especially. I will say so. Whereas in the original Bridget Wilson, I like her in a lot of things, not in Mortal Kombat, but in the next one. I'm gonna try and find who
because it's a completely different person.
For better or worse. I think of all things that could be said, so it was Sandra Hess replaced her in the Mortal Kombat Annihilation film. Worth it. Great choice. She sold it. Mm-hmm. So now take the acting chops with the action of Sandra Hess as Sonya Blade, and you get Jessica McNamee. Because she does a good job of making this a character you can get behind. Machad Brooks.
I think Machad.
Machad?
I think.
Let's put it that way. Machad Brooks as Jax. Great job.
So great.
So much better.
So much better.
He's not generic black guy, but with robot arms.
Okay, and he didn't even finish with robot arms. Let's get past that.
No, yes, he did.
Yeah, in Annihilation.
Oh yeah,
He rips off.
I literally think that was just the actor being like, "This is stupid.
I don't want to wear these.
I can't punch this horse with these robot arms.
I need to punch that horse.
So he doesn't just punch at the air, which is most of what he does in Annihilation. He punches the fake CGI dragon. He punches the fake Minotaur guy. Here, he actually does something.
He does it so well too. Like hate to the original actor. But,
they wrote poorly for that.
Exactly.
But like here, and he's also given great acting. Like the moments when he realized, like when he's struggling to come to terms with the fact that he's lost his arms. This is his life now. He's got to be used. Like I thought that was great stuff. Incredible. I liked that it wasn't just waking up in the middle of a facility in the Nevada desert and robo arms, let me go punch Triborg in the face.
Let me punch a poorly made Triborg.
Yeah, let me punch this hockey mask guy real quick. Like, he's a character both that we see get created, but also get made in the sense of he's more interesting than just a military guy with robo arms.
Yes.
He's someone who really rises above and makes himself useful in a situation that could have easily been just, all right, I'm out. I guess I'm useless now.
Yeah.
I liked it.
And Machad Brooks, the actor, too.
Is in Supergirl.
He is in Supergirl. I know. I was going to point that out.
I know you're going to say that.
I just love him as a person, too.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. Louis Tan, great guy as well. He plays Cole Young.
Very funny.
We get Sissy Stringer as Melina. I thought she did good. I was surprised they rushed through with Melina like that. I know we need the bad guys to die, but yeah, that was a little surprising.
Here's the thing. I was so pumped for her to do the jaw thing that I didn't even notice that she had died so quickly, honestly.
Like it's just, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it's fine. I feel less, obviously, for the bad guy characters than I do for, like, Kung Lao and all those.
But, like, I love Melina so much.
And I think it's just the intrigue of her character that it's weird they would choose to go ahead and throw her in the first one and kill her in the first one.
Another thing about this movie that is leaps and bounds over 1995. The costumes are incredible. And they didn't give her, like, the giant boob window. Like, I loved that. She's wearing actual
No
Like,
spandex. It's just like no.
yes.
It looks like gear. It looks like good stuff. And that's the same thing for I highly praise the samurai armor for Scorpion and for Sub-Zero
Yeah.
as well.
Big time.
I mean, getting their period pieces right and translating that to their modern looks, I thought that was great. I love
Absolutely.
going for the Oni mask instead of the traditional just mask.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero still has a very traditional, like almost shredder kind of style of face mask, face guard, but I love that Scorpion gets
Yeah.
a very animated Oni mask.
It makes me want to buy another Darth Maul Oni mask just to cut it off.
I
so that
guarantee
can
there's
wear
going to
it.
be Scorpion ones out there.
I cannot wait.
We get the wife and the daughter. Yeah,
Yada yada yada.
they were there.
They were great.
They would not get in the house. Oh my gosh.
There's a giant dude with 4 arms.
How
Get
many
in the
times
house.
does he have to say, get in the house? Jesus, that got me so much madder than I needed to, but
But
I
like
hated
she helped. She helped with the axe. She axed Goro.
I guess. Oh, whatever. She got in the way. I mean, okay, yes, we wouldn't have gotten the Super Saiyan moment with Cole Young if it wasn't for
Yes,
that.
he
but-
discovered his arcana.
I don't know. I feel like that was annoying. Anyway, Cabal was cool, though.
Cabal was dope.
You talk about faithful recreation. Like next to Kung Lao, he literally looks like he came off the game.
Yeah,
Like
he sounded a little bit like Dave Mustaine.
Kano. Hey there, Kano. You want to turn on this guy and just take down these shields?
Can we not?
Oh my gosh.
Can we not?
It wasn't Dave Mustaine, thank goodness.
My
but,
mischief way of life.
so ridiculous. I honestly was not familiar with Cabal.
Mhm.
So I thought he was Smoke at first.
Yes.
One of the Triborg Robo dudes. Well, no, because Smoke was a ninja. They made a robot or something.
I don't remember, dude.
I don't-
There's so many characters
someone
in
can
Mortal
correct me.
Kombat.
But I thought it was Smoke. But no, it was a
Yeah.
very interesting character.
Reptile. Reptile was very good.
Here's the thing. They say the reptilian, something the reptilian, the name.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means like it's not the reptile,
I'm not sure.
because technically between Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, we go from
Oh.
one scorpion or one reptile to 3. One of them played by Ray Park.
What? Yeah. And also
So like
fought by Ray Park.
right. So I'm disappointed if this is going to be the only reptile and that's going to be it. Like cool finisher by Kano, sure,
Much better than the first movies.
but that's all we get.
yes.
That's kind of sad.
I appreciated the Kano wins.
Yeah.
I liked
Well,
that.
tasteful, very tasteful.
And something that character would absolutely say.
Right. And then we get Nathan Jones as Reiko, who is the big guy. I looked
Yes.
up Nathan Jones to see, but he's a MMA fighter, so and he's big boy.
Ooh.
So I don't know if Reiko's an original character or what, but they got the right guy if so, because he is huge.
Like I said, man, there's so many Mortal Kombat characters.
And then we get Mel Johnson as Nitara, who again I don't know if that's an original character or
No,
in the game.
She's in the game.
Okay.
She gets
She gets the
the
good
best.
the finisher.
yes.
I don't think even like the final fight one lives up to that one.
It-
That's
when
the
that
most Mortal
happened-
Kombat.
When that happened, we were both just
like-
freaking out.
Because
Like, oh my god.
yeah, like it just goes for it.
Yeah.
It just happens, and
It's so gross. I love it
I will
so
say
much.
Jack-
And apparently all practical.
well,
Mostly practical.
well, mostly, but I
Yeah.
mean, anything's mostly practical nowadays. Like you're always going to use CGI to
What
touch
isn't?
up,
What isn't practical these days?
right? Well, my thing is, I mean, shows use it all the time for touching up actors. Like
Yeah.
technically, there's a lot of things that have more CGI than people realize, because sometimes it's just touch up stuff. So, which I
Yeah.
think it was for that, which I think is what made it look so great.
Jax's metal nipples.
Yeah, Jax gets a finisher as well. Sonya
Very
gets a
good.
finisher. Scorpion gets one. I appreciate they didn't go full. I'm gonna pull off my mask and oh no, now I'm a skeleton.
Yes.
um,
that was incredible.
I loved that as he did the fire breath, it burned the skeleton. It burned down to his bone jaw. Obviously, it then
Yeah.
Jiggered. Like he took off and put on his mask a lot. By the
He
way,
did.
he did the fire flames on Sub-Zero, put on his mask, then turns to his descendant and talked to him in probably a long sentence he did not understand.
Yeah. I wish
And then-
there was a line of, I don't speak Japanese.
Right, it's just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume you're on my side because you wear yellow, I wear yellow.
Yes.
Come on.
We have a whole ancestral color scheme going on.
And then I think that's most of that, and we've talked through Shang Tsung I thought was great. Again,
Fantastic.
big shoes to fill. He looked the part. I thought it was great. I was a little worried because, again,
Mm-hmm.
it was so iconically done before that I was worried it wouldn't be doable. Like, of the characters where it's like you've got to live up to something, not too many had anything. I think Ludi Lin and I think that Chin Han had the biggest job of, you guys were done well. Everybody else sucked in the previous movies. You've actually got expectations.
And they exceeded them.
They did
They
so
knocked it
great.
completely out of the
I would have loved if Robin came back, though, as Shang Tsung. I thought that would have been interesting.
There are apparently 3 more movies.
I want as many as they'll give me.
I want a quadrilogy, if you will give it to me. Please. I want so many more movies.
I don't want it to just make it, but tell it, you do what you gotta do to give me the best Mortal Kombat story.
I want people to follow around Max and Ludi with a camcorder, and that's just the movie.
Right? They
I
get
will
to
watch
direct
that.
the behind the scenes of the next movie.
Yes.
So yeah, and then it teases off with we didn't even mention Goro. So Goro looked great.
Goro looked fantastic.
Goro CGI. I mean, it's on the levels of like Hulk and all that. Like you get those kind of characters, you make them all CGI. That's how it works. But
Not a lot of spine ripping, but
they did well with it in that it was literally 2 guys in suits on stilts behind each other. Like it wasn't just, all right, Lewis, you're gonna just punch and we'll fix it in post. It wasn't a George Lucas situation of just like swing the lightsaber and we'll add it. He had to fight something, the same way Thor had to fight Ruffalo in gear. Like they worked with something,
Yeah.
and I think that's what made it go very well.
yeah,
Um,
not a lot of talking.
I thought, I don't know how real fans thought of it, of Goro. Like he was kind of thrown out there, but like I thought it was fine. Here's the thing: he got punched in the nuts and fell off a mountain in the last one, so it's better.
Yeah.
He gets a fight at least. But I did like the practical Goro of the original movie. I thought that was a technical
fun
feat.
puppet.
It looked a lot better than a lot of people give it credit for.
Yeah.
Is it janky? Yeah. Because back then, I mean, they try it with like Reptile and stuff of, let's do it CG because we can't, train a lizard to do that.
You can absolutely train a lizard to do that.
But like, for the most part, you didn't solve everything with CGI. So when it came to Goro, I feel like that was the biggest thing they undertook of, can we make this giant 4-armed monster? And Tom Woodruff Jr. and his studio did fantastic.
Fantastic job. They did so well.
I appreciate them, though, not trying to recreate it and just going with what's modern and do it with CGI.
And it looked
great.
great.
It looked good. So we got a good fight there. It's a solid movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And it ends on the cliffhanger of getting ready for the tournament. So, and obviously Shang Tsung teases he's not done either. He's getting ready for the tournament on his side. So I think the next one is going to be the tournament, the actual Mortal Kombat. So I'm excited and looking forward. I hope it doesn't take too long. Some movies take 3 to 4 years in between. I hope this is liberal and moves quick, not at the expense of the film.
Yeah.
Just because I'm excited.
Right? Like
just because I want more.
We had so much fun watching this movie. Like even if it wasn't like a great movie,
I think
it was fantastic. But like even if it wasn't, we still would have had a great time because we love movies like that.
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, I think it's everything you could hope for. It's a good movie. It's a good Mortal Kombat movie. It's a good video game movie. It hits all the boxes, I think.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people digging on this movie, and I genuinely do not understand why.
I think it highlights the contrarian nature of review and commentary, where I feel like there's just people that have to pick a side because it's popular. It's content.
Well, like,
because here's the thing: how many videos would you watch of people liking a movie you like? Like, if you already like it and you don't need convincing, I mean, maybe a few, like half a dozen, but of all of the people you know and like. Now, say you're in the minority, quote unquote, and you don't like something. You're going to watch all the movies of people that support and back up and iron in your opinion of.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, like, and that's the ending explained culture of everything and all that, where it's just like, I don't know how I felt about that movie, so I'm going to watch somebody else commentate on it, and oh, now that they mention it, I didn't like that. And like it just reinvigorates all these negatives, and it's just like that. So I really believe a lot of people choose the negatives just because it gets them a bigger audience.
And I feel like there's a lot of cynicism in modern movie culture, I'll say. Like, I miss the days where we would just go to Blockbuster and have fun. I genuinely have so much fun watching movies, and I don't like that there are people out there who don't like the fact that I'm having fun watching a movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, it's a matter of going with the flow, whatever gets you your audience and pays the bills, and I don't agree with it at all, but
No.
I see it all over. I see it all the time. You know, you see it in the Star Wars community as well, of just like, I'm going to have this opinion because that's going to get me an audience of 10,000 easily. And a lot of people, I mean, I'm not saying that people can't have legit criticisms of this, but if you can, at the end of the day, still just call it garbage,
dude,
I'm going to question, I got some concerns about your motives, because if you can at least admit it's fun, come on.
One of the most fun lines in the entire movie, and one that did not make a lick of sense, was
You were like
Scorpion.
a little bunny.
Well, no, that was funny. But
get
Scorpion
over here.
Screaming, "Get over here!" in
Yeah,
English.
we right afterwards we were just like,
Would it
would it
say
have
that
been
in Japanese?
Would it have been so bad? Yeah, like I thought that was what I mentioned earlier. That was the one biggest glaring
That was it.
fan service where I feel like I would have appreciated them sticking to their guns of he is Japanese, he speaks Japanese.
Yes.
But
we both hyped over that moment.
That's the thing, is even though it wasn't like super satisfying of like, well, like why? Even still, it was fun. So that's what I mean. Like, if you can't at least admit it was fun,
Yes.
I feel like you got a bean up your butt, and you just need to take a chill pill.
I'm disappointed that there was no Toasty.
I'm glad. Again, that's such a video game thing, though.
Yes.
Like, I appreciate them sacrificing video game stuff for good content.
Even if Cole had just looked over at the burning corpse of Bihan and just went,
Toasty.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like that should have been what gave him his name, instead of him being like, no, there is no Bihan, only Toasty. Like, it's just like, that's like when your kid like reaches a certain age and they're just like, I'm not your baby anymore, and start using their full name, and it's just like,
sure.
Kid, shut up. And it's just
Shut
like,
up, kid.
I feel like Shang Tsung was just like, whatever, just go do what I said to do. God, like, why do you got to get all in your beans? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know what it is with me and beans tonight, but
you like beans? We had beans last night.
Yeah, like
tonight?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like he's good at his job. We just let him do his thing and have his thing.
He has a dumb name like Firebird, but we just let him go.
Right. So like, I feel like that should have been like something Jax called him and it stuck, or like some stupid thing. But whatever. Yeah. I mean, they did the flip side of it with Hazashi, where it's just like, I am Scorpion now, and it's just like,
okay,
that should have just been your name. Like, that should have been like what he was known as back in the day and everything, which I think is what they did in Legacy, where it's just like, he was the Scorpion. Whatever. All of these are just nitpickies.
In Japan?
I feel like there's scorpions everywhere.
What a terrifying
at all times.
statement.
Right. As long as it's Sonata, I'm happy.
Oh yeah.
Scorpion can be anywhere if it's Sonata. He is my Japanese uncle, and I will take no business otherwise. So,
Joe Telson is my Japanese uncle.
right. He's a
So,
lot of fun.
he really
watching
is.
the interviews with him and everything. He really he loves it. It's so different where he's the hype one and he doesn't get much character acting, whereas Sonata's like the grandpa, which makes sense. He's older, but he's just so laid back and he's just
very
so
metered.
artsy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is he's a very intelligent person and there's times when he really does get to act outside of just straight. We need you to wield a sword, do some kicks and flips like, but it's a lot of what he does for film, but it's interesting to see that it's the same with Jackie Chan, where it's just like, yes, in a lot of ways he is the Jackie Chan you see in film, but in a lot of ways also he's just kind, soft, like he's just like he does he can do all of these fancy things, but that doesn't mean he thinks he's big and tough and better than anybody else.
It makes me wish that we had gotten Bruce Lee in his like older grandpa stage.
Oh my gosh, it would have been amazing.
It would have been so incredible.
I mean, Jet Li's getting up there, man.
Don't remind me.
Well, I mean, not in a bad way. I just mean, and you'd hardly know it if you didn't look up his age, because I mean, he's really taking good care of himself and everything, and I just think it's great that he can still do all of the amazing things that he used to do. Jackie Chan's been more honest and it's only because he's been more harsh to himself. But
yeah, he did take a lot of kicks to the face.
And so in speaking of those legends, it's so great, and the same thing with Shang-Chi, where it's good to see that we have modern faces of martial arts cinema.
Yeah, there are new legends being made right in front
Nobody's
of us.
saying that Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee are gone. Nobody's saying that none of these other people matter. It's just saying that they were our generation. They inspired this generation. And now these guys are going to inspire the next one. And yes, it matters that little Asian kids see themselves in leading powerful roles. Just as much as it is for a girl to see herself in Sonya kicking butt. Like,
I wish there were more characters like Sonya when I was a kid.
Just because you grew up and you turned out fine not identifying yourself with characters, which I don't believe, by the way, doesn't mean that it's not important for other people.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it's not a real criticism. And so, like, one of the biggest things I've seen where all the praise is like, wow, like the future of martial arts cinema and Asian American filmmaking and all of this other, like, it's in good hands. And it's not to discount everybody else that's in this. No. It's just that, I mean, that's a big feature. Because here's the thing. For a long time, who could most people name other than Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and Bruce Lee? I mean, let's be honest. Like, unless you were well-versed in the cinema. So, yeah, you might know 10 other people, but these are new household names. And I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome. And I think it's great to see that we're not building we're not saying, oh, well, because Jackie Chan, there's no, misstack of racial equality in filmmaking and martial arts and everything. It's like...
Don't get me started.
Just because you have that one guy that's a good example doesn't mean other people's experiences aren't legitimate. So I love it. I love what it's doing for cinema. I love that this and Shang-Chi are happening in the same year. I hope that it inspires a new wave of martial arts cinema.
Absolutely.
Because
give Donnie Yen more movies,
as
please.
as we've said, like a lot of our favorites are getting older because they were our favorites when we were young. So it's a good thing to see the next generations in good hands with good movies, and it's only going to age more. It's only going to age better as time goes on and everything. So I think it's great. I'm looking forward to the future of Mortal Kombat movies.
I'm looking forward to the
martial
future
arts
in general.
movies. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. So I don't think there's anything hard and fast on sequels. If there isn't, there should be.
Please.
So exciting to talk about. It's great to talk about something very different from anything else we've ever talked about on the show.
Yeah.
It's just going to keep happening.
And to sum up, Mortal Kombat 1995. Good.
Watch that.
Yes.
Watch Legacy.
Annihilation?
Watch this.
No.
Just skip Annihilation.
Legacy.
We didn't mention Legacy as much. It's a lot of fun. If you want something,
Legacy.
If you want something longer, definitely good. It's good. Hard to find.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I say that, it was part of Machinima, so that is gate kept now. because they were bought by AT&T. So, yeah, illegally download it and enjoy it, I guess. Not that I'm telling you to do that.
No, we're saying for legal purposes, it can be illegally downloaded. You shouldn't do that, but it can be done.
But you can legally purchase HBO Max and watch this, or go to the theaters safely and enjoy it. It would give them your money, please.
Yeah, we're probably going to go watch it again.
Show that this is what we want and this is good stuff. Support the film in those ways and everything. And yeah, look out for the future, because whenever the next one comes out, we will be all over that.
We're going to be on there like shells on eggs, just all up in it.
Yep. So next, we're talking about something else that we really enjoy. Next is Bird and Bucky on the next episode of NerdyVerse, and then we're back to Star Wars for a bit.
You can't keep calling him Bird.
I can.
You're going to have to call him his real name at some point.
He's Captain Bird.
One of these days,
just because he's got the shield doesn't mean he doesn't still got wings, baby.
If we meet Anthony Mackie at some point,
I hope so.
Walk? Right? He's such a delightful person.
I hope so.
Are you just going to be like, "Hello, Mr. Bird"? Yes.
Hello, Captain Bird.
Hello,
nice
Captain
to meet
Bird.
you. I love that man. He's so fantastic.
Have you seen the video of him hyping up Sebastian Stan?
I've seen so much.
It's so good.
Much like Ludi Lin content,
we have been consuming
just
a lot.
Slurping it up.
Please use different words.
So, yeah, we're talking about that next, and then we're back to some Star Wars, and then that's where my mental calendar runs out. So you'll just have to stay tuned. Follow us, and
you've had the delight of entertaining a tired John.
Yep, but we do this for you, and we do this because we're paid to by our lovely patrons. Thank you to our patrons for paying us for this weirdness. Every week we wonder if you're going to continue to do so, and you do. So you're amazing. Yeah. And you can check out our Patreon, or you can support us through Anchor. There's actually a great number of ways that you can support us. We're even talking about looking maybe at that buy me a coffee thing or something, like one-off, like if you just want to give a few bucks or whatever. If you want to tip one episode but not the other one, you can do that. We're trying to figure it out. Not that we deserve money for this ridiculousness, but
don't expect it at all.
If you want to do it, you can. Highly recommend that you show your love through liking, subscribing, sharing, rating, however. All of the checklists of things that every other content creator tells you to do it for us. We'd greatly appreciate it. It does a lot for the show and helps new people, new ears, unsuspecting ears.
We're going to crawl in there.
Yeah,
just wait.
We're going to get all up in there with our Mortal Kombat-ness and all that good stuff. So
you're just going to be asleep one night and then hear,
Mortal Kombat! So, yeah. Other than that, we'll be back when we're back, I guess. I don't know.
We'll be back.
Oh, Red5Network.com, .net, .com.
.com.net.
.com.net.com. Red5 Network. Full of podcasts that do much better jobs than we do. Good people are in that group, and you should listen to them.
Good friends and babes.
And follow them. And Game Infinite. I mean, we're talking about a video game movie, for goodness sake. So, GameInfinite.net. I know that one's right. Or Game Infinite on Twitter and Instagram. Follow them for game content, news, cosplay, all that good stuff. If you're into games or if you make stuff like that, then you'll love Jesse and Game Infinite, and it will be a good time. Now I think that's that.
Follow Ludi Lin on Instagram.
Yes, please. He's amazing. Watch the movie where his mom watches the trailer.
Yes. She says the F word.
Support all of these people you possibly can.
Give them your money.
Give them your money and your love.
In a signed envelope.
Tell them we sent you. They won't care.
They don't. They don't know who we are.
So, all right.
Bye.
Get over here.
Wait a minute. You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.